Lady Thessera had never understood why her mother employed human. The crystalline citadel of Soulmarch was the seat of galactic power, a place where only the most refined beings served. Yet there he was, every morning, pushing his cleaning apparatus through the marble corridors, a small, fragile creature who didn't even glow with the natural luminescence that marked civilized species. His name was David, and Thessera found him endlessly amusing to mock. "Careful with that," she'd call out as he cleaned the chandelier crystals. "I'm sure your primitive mind struggles with our technology." She'd laugh with her attendants, who always joined in, never questioning the princess's cruelty. Why would they? Status flowed downward from her, and mockery was the currency she chose to distribute. David never responded. He simply continued his work with quiet efficiency, occasionally offering a polite nod that Thessera found infuriating in its dignity. 3 months into his employment, the Imperial Summit convened, a gathering of the galaxy's most powerful leaders discussing the future of intergalactic trade and security. The crystalline citadel gleamed, prepared for its most important guests. It was during the opening ceremony that the disaster struck. The main conference chamber's atmospheric stabilizers failed catastrophically. The sophisticated alien technology that maintained the precise temperature, pressure, and crystalline resonance frequency necessary to keep the assembled leaders safe began to cascade into failure. Within minutes, the entire gathering would suffocate or freeze. The competing environmental needs of so many different species couldn't coexist without the stabilizers. The Citadel's engineering team scrambled frantically, but the system was hopelessly corrupted. No one understood it. The crystalline species who'd built it millennia ago were extinct, their schematics archived in languages no one could fully interpret. And then David appeared. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't announce himself with ceremony. He simply walked into the control room, where dozens of panicked engineers were making things worse, assessed the situation in 30 seconds, and began working. His human hands moved with extraordinary precision across interfaces that had baffled the finest minds in the galaxy. He wasn't using advanced computation. He was listening, actually listening to the system's harmonic frequencies, feeling the vibrations in the equipment, understanding it not as an alien technology, but as a machine with its own language. Within 15 minutes, the stabilizers hummed back to life. The conference chamber normalized. 1,000 leaders from 100 worlds continued their discussions as if nothing had happened. But everything had changed. The Empress summoned Thessera to the throne room that evening. Her mother's displeasure was evident in the crystalline lattice of her form. Sharp angles, fractured light. The crystalline way of expressing fury. "Do you know what your human janitor just prevented?" the Empress asked quietly. "I don't know, Mother." "Galactic war," the Empress said. The Valerian delegation felt the system fail. They interpreted it as sabotage by the Silicon Coalition. If the stabilizers hadn't been restored in exactly 17 minutes, they would have attacked. The Silicons would have retaliated. Within hours, every allied species would have been drawn in. Trillions would have died. Thessera's form dimmed with shame. That human understood our technology better than our own engineers, the Empress continued. He didn't have advanced tools or centuries of theoretical knowledge. He had something far more valuable, the ability to listen, to adapt, to solve problems that specialists could not. And while you mocked him, he quietly studied our systems, our needs, our vulnerabilities, not to exploit us, but to serve us better. The Empress rose, her massive crystalline form commanding the chamber. "Come," she led Thessera through the corridors to where David was finishing his evening rounds. The human looked up, surprised to see the royal procession. "David of Earth," the Empress declared, her voice echoing through the halls. "You have saved not merely this citadel, but the peace of the galaxy itself. Your species demonstrates a capacity for understanding that transcends physical limitation or biological difference. You have shown us what true service means." She turned to Thessera. "My daughter will begin her education in humility immediately. And you, David, are promoted. You will serve as the Citadel's chief engineer and strategic advisor." Your species has taught us that strength comes not from superiority, but from the willingness to truly listen. Then the Empress did something extraordinary. In the presence of her daughter and the gathered court, she inclined her massive form in a gesture of respect, a bow to a human janitor who'd saved the galaxy while sweeping floors. Thessera watched, and for the first time, she truly saw David, not as a servant to mock, but as a person whose quiet competence and humble dedication had accomplished what her pride never could. "I'm sorry," she said simply. David smiled, that patient, dignified smile he'd worn through every insult. "Everyone has something to teach us, if we're willing to listen. That's what my people learned a long time ago." And in that moment, Thessera understood that her education had only just begun.